Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today I'm going to be looking at the Arabesque playing cards, Players Edition from Oath Playing Cards and Lotrek. Lotrek and Oath have become synonymous with some of the most intricate, beautiful luxury designs on the market, and Arabesque here is no exception. The design actually started as a mystery deck on Oath playing cards. Oath did an $80 pre-order for a deck of cards completely sight unseen. Hadn't even revealed details of the design itself. It of course sold out because of the reputation that Oath has in the market, and the collector's edition of the Arabesque playing cards was the result. Really just a super high-end deck with tons of detail on the tuck case, foiling on the cards, really stunningly done. But he followed that up with a Kickstarter campaign for the Players Edition that you see here. It's a little bit more usable of a deck, but still has tons of the high-end touches that made the first deck such a desired commodity. The deck itself is inspired by the Alhambra Palace in Granada, Spain. It was originally an Arab fortress in the area, but then later became the seat of power for a number of monarchs. It eventually was actually where the royal palace of Ferdinand and Isabella was. Ferdinand and Isabella actually launched or commissioned the expedition of Columbus to the New World from that palace. It was redone over the years with some Renaissance touches to go with the Arab architecture that was there originally. So it's just a really famous spot with tremendously intricate and detailed architecture throughout. And that was the inspiration for this deck of cards. Comes in two different colors, the blue here and then the red. We're going to look mostly at the blue and then we'll look back at the red in a second. So starting with the tuck case, it is a navy blue tuck. You can just barely see that peeking out from that gold foil that's pretty much covering the thing. It's nicely embossed, beautifully done in this gold and white foil. The center spade pip features some kind of nice leaf work curling around to form that classically shaped spade pip. And then you have just bars of what seem to be kind of solid gold foil going all the way around and forming up this frame all the way through. It says Arabesque in this kind of Arab inspired font with these flourishes here. It's a little bit hard to read, which kind of think adds to the mystique of it. And then premium quality playing cards. But as you look at those gold blocks and you pull it up close, you can see the white foil in there, really giving it just beautiful accents and intricate detail. And that's where you can really see the inspiration of the carvings that you'll find in the Alhambra Palace. They're really beautifully done all the way around. It says Oath playing cards on one side, Players Edition on the other. Plain blue with the ad copy on the bottom for Oath playing cards. These are actually printed in Greece, so not by Cartamundi or USPCC, one of the classics. Oath playing card logo there on the side, and then gold with more of that detailing up there on the top. More gold on the inner flaps, and then the interior of the tuck is printed in a solid flat gold color all the way down. So really just a beautiful heavy stock case. Really nicely done all the way around. Just great execution on that, but expect nothing less from Lotrek. All right, now looking at the cards themselves, and here's the back design. It's very, to me, just inspired by, what you would see like on an Arabic carpet. It really looks very much like one of those designs to me. I love the color scheme done on this with the teals and the reds, and then gold ink, gold metallic ink to accent it all the way through and provide the detail elements. Love the color scheme. You can see those arches that are very classic of Arabic architecture, and just the level of detail that goes into all the touches throughout on this completely two-way back design. You do have one hit of silver metallic ink over here with this Arabic writing on the left and right. But really nicely done. Finishes out with a medium white poker border all the way around. So that is the back design of the cards. Extra cards, you only get 2 extra cards in this one. They're gonna be the Jokers. They both feature this guy with a turban sitting here on a carpet, and he's playing an oud, O-U-N. That's this kind of curved neck stringed instrument there. Very classic stringed instrument from Arab culture. And it says Oath playing cards at the top. One of the cards says designed and printed in Greece, 2018. And the other side, Arabesque Players Edition. Just a color swap between the two cards, one of them in kind of green and yellow garb, and the other one more in red and blue. The word Joker on the side is written in that same Arabic font that we saw on the front of the tuck case. You can kind of make out that it says Joker there. A little bit hard to read, but interesting touch on those. So there's your two Jokers, and no other extra cards, so we just get into the deck itself. And start out with the Ace of Spades. Love what was done on this one. So you have the large spade pip in the middle, mirroring what we saw on the tuck case there. And it has gold framing all the way around and just tons of detail with this blue design, that teal design with just sort of a repeated pattern inside of it. Really liberal use of the gold metallic inks all the way through. It says Arabesque at the top, reflected on the bottom. And then you have the custom spade pip and a fairly classic font A there in the corner. Now that's a big change from the collector's edition. The collector's edition had used that Arabic font on the index in the corner, made it very hard to read on some of the cards. This one swaps it out for a much more readable and functional font, fitting for the player's edition. As you go through the numbers, you've got that same framing up for the two spade pips in the center, and continues down all the way through the number cards until you get to the courts. And there are the courts. Beautiful all gold ink background to them. And I will say, familiar shape, I would say, to the court cards. The poses, etc., are very familiar, but they're swapped out with very Arabic-inspired characters, whether they're holding instruments, they're all wearing the turbans wrapped around their heads. You'll see the swords are swapped out with scimitars. So it just touches all the way through. I love the use of color on these. The reds and blues are accented just perfectly throughout it to give it a lot of interest to these court cards. So love what was done on these two-way courts. Both classic and kind of true to the poses that you'd see on Bicycle, but completely done up and given a custom look. Now jumping into the diamonds, it's going to be more the same that we looked at with the spades, just swapped out, of course, with the red diamonds, and into more of the courts. I don't know why, but I really, really like this jack. I love the detail on the shield there. I think that one's really well done. And then into the clubs. All right, let's see a little bit of a different shape with the kind of pointed tip, again, kind of typical of arches you'd see in Arab architecture. There to give a little bit of a different feel to the club. And then into the club courts and the hearts, finishing out with the 3 heart courts. So just beautifully done. I love the courts on this all the way through. As far as handling, these are, like I said, printed in Greece, so not by one of the classics. So the handling is so-so. It's a much thicker, sturdier card, I would say. Very snappy, but the fans just a little bit clumpy. It just doesn't slide quite as well as you get with a Oath PCC deck. That said, it's still very, very usable as a deck. One that you could use absolutely for gameplay, which what you'd expect for a player's edition deck. So that's a look at the blue. We'll take a quick look at the red. Now this is actually the edition that was done in the Kickstarter campaign. I'll show you what the difference is later. But that blue is swapped out for bright red. I mean, it's a really bright red for the tuck case. To me, the details of this one pop out a little bit more compared to the blue. That bright, vibrant red really does look nice. But all the way around, you can see there that foiled representation of the back design of the cards there. But really beautifully done on the red. I will point out that on these, I got some just sort of scraping off of some of the gold. I don't know if that's just more with time, you're gonna get some of that gold flake off. But one of the perils of using that much gold foil on the front. So mine didn't hold up particularly well. These you'll see actually say D backer on the bottom. This is an indication that if you see any of the decks that have D backer written on the bottom, that means that they were the actual decks that were released during the Kickstarter campaign. And the only difference is inside they're going to include a double backer. The rest of the deck pretty much the same, with a couple of exceptions. One, you do get this double backer, and of course the back design has been swapped out. And it's essentially a reversed color scheme. So the teals and the reds are just reversed between these two. Really gives it an entirely different color scheme, an entirely different look, but still just absolutely beautifully executed expect nothing less out of this deck. Really nicely done. The rest of the deck is going to be the same that we're looking at with the blue deck, right? So all of these are going to be very much the same. So that's it. That is the look at the Arabesque playing cards from Oath. Really just a beautifully executed design. I love these cards. And I will say, you know, especially compared to the collector's edition deck that can go easily into the triple digits, this is absolutely a very approachable, fairly easy to get a hold of deck, really kind of in the $20 price range. So if you see one of these, I absolutely recommend snagging one up. It is a really beautiful deck in hand. Can't say enough about this one. So really great job by Lotrek and Oath. All right, hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know what else you want to see. Subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings, and I'll see you for the next one.